Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and somebody's trying to reduplicate these bricks off of a historic wall, I guess. And so if you draw a circle, you can kind of see that it's not a perfect circle. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to click on our picture, and I'm going to go to the transparency tool, and I'm going to make this wall a little bit more transparent, so I can see my circles and everything a little bit better, but still see the graphic, and we can always go back. So we need to make this ellipse just a little bit bigger. I've set my nudge factor. I'll set my nudge factor on 0.001, which is really minute, I guess, in millimeters, but if we hold down the shift key, it'll go a little bit faster. It's called a super nudge. And we'll go ahead and bring it down to the top of that, try to get a little bit closer. Now what we need to do is make it not round, so we need to grab this edge and just kind of move it over and put it into place. That's a lot better. It still needs to be a little bit more of an oval. So we'll bring it in and get it close. That looks really good. Now what we can do is take Control D and make a duplicate and hold down the shift key and grab one of these corners and grow it from the outside. It'll still be an oval or not a perfect circle. And then we can Control D again and it'll match up with the other bricks or some close enough. And if you're doing this for real, you'd want to, play with that a little bit, but we're pretty good. Now I'm going to take an indexing line and I'm going to put it in that center. Bring another indexing line and put it in that center. So we have something to look at. I'm actually going to do this two different ways. The way he was doing it is let me take this transparency, make it less of a transparency so we can see it a little bit better. I hope you can see my red line. Matter of fact, what I can do for this video is I can select all these, and let's make them a yellow line. Yeah, they show up a little bit better. Now we've still got this grid, but some of the bricks aren't the same size. Like this one looks quite a bit thicker than this one. This one's thicker than that one. So you're either gonna have to do it manually, or we can do it, I might make a second video. So we're gonna take a 2-point line and we're gonna go from the center and we're gonna go outward. We're only gonna do the interior bricks right now. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll erase that. I'll double click on my pen tool. Sometimes it doesn't work. I'll go to this pen and set the pen color to a yellow. And if you go to color palettes and I'm gonna go ahead and go to RGB because that's what I work in. And now every line we draw will be in yellow. So we're going to go right from the center to that first brick. Well, it didn't, I must not have set it right. And then just kind of zoom in and look good. And then, once we have this line, we can move the center rotation to the center and make it hit the plus key on the keyboard, grabbing that handle and go right there and then hit the plus key on the keyboard, grabbing that handle. All I'm trying to do is get into the mortar part of the brick. So I'm just hitting the plus key on the keyboard and going around. I would much prefer to do this mathematically, but I think he's trying to make this spot on. And for the one I'm doing it for, don't worry about the mortar. I don't know how he's going to engrave this, but I'm going to show him a little bit different way. So all I'm doing is grabbing that circle. And now I'm going to put my left hand on the plus key, so I can just keep hitting. Don't have to even take my hand off the mouse. So we're going to go all the way around. And you can grab either side of that circle. Just hit the plus. You see that brick is quite a bit bigger. And if that's what he wants, that's great. And see if you jump a little bit. Whoop. If you ever see him to move, Just move it back. We've still got our rotation of the center. This would take some time, but if you want it to be exact, grab the line. And we're going to call that good. Now, what I would do to, instead of engraving these lines, let's see how big this box is. 93 millimeters, so I'm going to make my nudge factor 100. And what I would do is fill in the bricks with your Smart Fill tool, nudge them over, and just kind of stay with me here for a second. We've got all the bricks, but we're just making that part. Now I'm going to left click, right click, and if he's just going to engrave it, that might be all he needs. But what my suggestion would be to take one of these and go to Object, Contour, and we're going to contour to the inside. I don't know what millimeters. Let's see what it looks like. Way too big. Let's go 0.01. We just barely want to have a little bit of a contour. Didn't really do enough. So let's 0.02. You know, that might just work. And then you can take every one of these and just hit apply. Whoop, I saw something jump. And all I'm doing is reducing the size of the so all you have to do is you click on each one of these blocks, and that's why I smart filled them. Because I think in just a second, if it works as planned, we'll be able to smart fill those and get a total different shape of brick, and maybe we'll have some mortar spaces. And you can maybe make it more of a contour, just play with it. I saw something move, so I'm going to jump back. All I'm doing is making that space smaller. Now let's take the contour tool, and let's do it in yellow, just so we can kind of tell. And this time I'm going to contour up. I'm just hitting the up arrow key. I didn't hit that one, so I'll hit it last. I don't want to smart fill it twice. So I'm going to take my pick tool and take that and smart fill it. Now, if it worked as planned, we've got some gaps between there. So let's left click, right click. So I didn't do it enough. There's not enough gap. Let's just, I'm not going to do the whole thing again, but let's contour it. See, I don't understand why it's in millimeters, it's doing that. Let's go 0.05. See, it needs to be more than that. There are several ways we could do this. Let's try this. Let's take all these lines and make them thicker than a hairline. Let's see if this works. That pen tool sometimes doesn't work. There we go. That looks good. Now, if we go to Object, and we'll have to break them apart and then select them again, and go up to Object and convert the outline to an object. Now we could use the Smart Fill tool, and this time I'm going to go down, and we'll see if we don't have any gap between them. Because I don't know if he's doing the outline of the bricks or the, see, now we got some space between them. So you could do one of two things. You could left click, right click, and now we have outlines of the brick. And because we've nudged, we could nudge right back. That would be my suggestion if you're going to do it manually. let's take this picture and go back and make the transparency tool more. So you can just see it. So there's your row of bricks. And if you're going to engrave it, and then just do the same thing on the first layer. Now I'm going to make a second video if you were going to make the bricks even. If you were going to be the same brick all the way through. Like, you know, these bricks are all this, well, these are ends of the bricks. These are sides of the brick. I'm not a mason, so I don't know, but I'm going to do it another way, but I think that will help him right there because that looks pretty good. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.